Some of you already know me from supply teaching. And those of you who do know that I like to cut the crap. So here is the main point. A lot of people ask, how do you handle positive and negative numbers? Positive numbers are easy because that's what we're used to. For example, if I were to show you 5 plus 6, it's simple. We start at 5, we count up another 6 steps, and we get to 11. What happens, however, if we do something like this? 5 minus 6. You can't take away a bigger number from a smaller number. Actually, you can. What happens is that we end up with a number which is less than 0. You can take away something larger. For example, if Connor owes Carolyn $6 and all he has is 5, essentially what's happened is this. We start with a number line starting at 0. Now, this is the positive side. If Connor had $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, and he had to take away $6, he essentially now has less than nothing. $1 down brings him to 4. Another 1 down brings him to 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Connor is now in the hole because he owes money to Carolyn. And believe me, she will collect on the debt. He now has a net worth of negative $1, which makes him very unhappy. In the same sense that a picture is worth 1,000 words, it is always worth your while to draw a number line, because if you can visualize it, you can work with it a lot more easily. However, what happens if we want to take away a negative number? This is something that really throws a lot of people. Now, I'm going to put the numbers in brackets because it makes it a lot easier to follow. In other words, you can't do something like this. You can't do, say, 5 minus 8. Does not work. That will earn you a great big zilch. 5, and we want to take away negative 8. How do we do it? Right about now, a lot of people start to suffer instant weight loss from stress whenever they see a question like this. I have even seen university students look at your thing and stuff like, I don't know what the hell to do with this next, and that's where they stop. So this is what we do with this one here. Think of taking away the debt. If we just take a look at the negative 8, that represents a debt of $8. If we take away the debt, that means that we are actually putting Connor back up. So he starts with $5. This is where he starts. Always take the first number as your starting point. 5, and we take away a debt, which means that he's ahead. Another way of looking at it, if you're happy, you're feeling pretty positive. If you're feeling sad, you're feeling pretty negative. So if we take away or subtract sadness, we are making somebody happier and pushing them towards the positive end of the happiness scale. So we start again at 5, which is right here, and we take away a debt. In other words, we are taking away sadness and making this go towards the happy end. 8 steps. 8 steps up brings us to positive 13. Another way of looking at this is by taking multiplication and division, which are always taught to be harder than addition and subtraction. It's actually the other way around, folks. If we have two numbers, for example, negative 5, and I want to multiply it by, say, positive 3. Here's what happens next. And you notice I put them in brackets because we do not want to write something that looks like this. Minus 5 times positive 3. When you have these two signs together here, we don't know whether you're trying to add them, times them, or either. In fact, this time the thing to keep in mind is that the plus sign is not an operation. We're not adding anything. It's just to signify that this 3 is on the plus side of the line, towards the plus side. And we are taking that number and multiplying it by negative 5. So we start with negative 5 and we times it by positive 3. That gives us 15. First, we don't worry about what sign we're going to end up. We just take the numbers, multiply them together. 5 times 3 is 15. Simple. Now we take a look at the signs. We started with a negative sign, and if it touches a positive sign, it doesn't change. Therefore, this negative sign stays negative. Starts negative, goes to negative, because it didn't change. If, however, we did something a little bit different. Supposing we take minus 5 and we multiply it by minus 3. Once again, we just take the numbers and multiply them first. We don't worry about the sign. We end up with 15. Now this negative here hits a negative, and this negative that's touched the first sign changes the first sign. So the negative is like a changer. It changes whatever we started with, which in this case would have to be negative. The only thing it can change to is positive. Hence it now changes to a positive. So that negative hits this sign here, and that negative sign changes whatever it came into contact with. So this first sign changes to a positive. We did something a little bit different. For example, if we did positive 5, multiplied it, same number, that sign there hits a negative sign or a changer, changes this first sign, now that becomes negative. Similarly, if we add a third number on here, let us make it a negative 4. 5 times 3 is 15, times 4 is 60. So we have a 60. Now, the first sign that we started with was a positive. Now it changes to a negative. Changes again back to a positive, and we end up with positive 60. So, whatever our first sign is, if it hits a positive sign, when we're doing multiplication and division, it doesn't change. If it hits a negative sign when we're doing multiplication and division, it changes. That's about as simple as I can make it. If you have questions, feel free to stay tuned for the next video.